Alright, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Mav here, and we're gonna do another video here on F123, which was inspired by Pokey Puppy because his PlayStation crapped out on him. He went to go get it fixed, and guess what? It was a write-off, so now he's got to go get a new system. Mid-April to late April is when we're gonna probably see him get a new system, which means there's gonna be a new YouTube channel for Pokey. So when that gets all set up and everything's done, we're gonna give you guys that information. We're going to try seeing if we can change settings on the calibration and force feedback to see if anything that we can do to make a controller speed match my time or as close as we possibly can. So right here, I'm just doing default settings, default setup that the game gives you, and see what kind of times we get as a baseline. And, you know, going through this, I was hoping at the very beginning, I was hoping that I was actually going to find a lot of time and potentially get to a 130.2 that I have on a steering wheel. I was trying to match my time on a steering wheel with the controller, and I think throughout the time that I did do it, if I spent a little bit more time, a little bit more practice, and kept going and everything, I probably could have gotten to a 130.2. But doing this, I've been on a steering wheel for almost a full year, so going back to the controller to do this was really different. You can see the lap times there for the first 5 laps that I did. Lap 2, lap 4, and lap 5, even though 4 and 5 were invalid laps, they were very, very close to what he was, and maybe even slightly better than that. Now, the next run that you're going to see is basically one of the final runs that I ended up doing with changing settings on the calibration and the force feedback. But it was also testing out car setups. I was really interested in car setups with the setting changes. That's what I was really interested in the most. So I was also trying out car setups at the same time, and to be honest, like I said, if you can get the right car setup, you dial in your settings and you keep on practicing and you keep getting better and better and better and better, I think you could potentially do these things. Yeah, just the time doing this was crazy. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I just want to get a rough sense on, does it help? Do I see it helping? And do I think this is going to help Pokey out when he gets his new system? Excuse me. So, around this, with this lap right here, I did find out that I was running about the same time as him. But I believe I was still a little bit behind him a little bit, but then again, I'm still a little rusty. I haven't played on a controller for a while, so I was taking that into accountability of my being able to play on a controller because I haven't done that in so long. So yeah, it was a really interesting approach to learning a little bit more about the game, and can I find something to help out my friend. But you know, when it comes down to it, it's going to be how does he react to these. I've thought about this too, about some people in the comments saying, hey, what about you guys' driving style? You know, everybody has a different driving style. My driving style and his driving style are very, very similar, especially like when we're doing like practice or even qualifying. We have the same pace. For some reason lately, it just seems like he loses his pace during the race, right? As you can see here, I'm not going to be with him, but I did stick with his back end on that lap for basically the whole time. So I knew there was time, a little bit of room for improvement there. This is basically one of the final sessions that I had with what I felt comfortable with the setting changes of the calibration and the force feedback. And I was using the setup that I felt comfortable with of all the setups that I used. With this one, you are going to realize that I basically matched his time on controller with all the settings and everything. As you can see, I'm still a bit rusty on the controller. I still kind of mistake turns and everything with it, but as you can see, I think right there I believe right there he went off the track a little bit or something. I'm not sure. I really wish that the ghost would be a little bit more identifiable when you're going around the tracks, because I would really love to see what he's actually legitimately doing from time to time. But with this one, I must know like some of my corners, because as you can see, like some of these corners, I really catch up to him or I get in front of him. You know what I mean? So it really got down to it. Like right here, you can see how like I got through that corner and I'm actually neck to neck with him. When we go over the line right here, it's a 131.493. He's a 131.494. That's the only difference we had there. So, of course, I decided to keep going for the rest of the session of the 5 laps and everything. You may not necessarily see all 5 laps, because right now I'm going to give my final thoughts on everything that I did. First of all, what really helps you out, I think, with the game, if you can figure those out first, is do your force feedback. Find out what your force feedback is. For me, I did it the other way around. I did the calibration first, and then I did the other settings. So doing that with other settings and all that, I would really suggest that you do your force feedback first and then do your calibration afterwards. Because if you can get your calibration, your force feedback dialed in first, I think the rest of the settings will come a lot easier. For final thoughts, I think when you do get your calibration and your force feedback figured out, find your right car setup that fits your style of driving. So remember, all of these all depend on your style of driving, your personal preference of your settings and things like that. But I would really definitely suggest people to change your settings. Take a look at them. Screw around with them a little bit. Have fun with them. Find out what works for you. Find out what makes things make you go a little bit faster and things like that, But as a second part of this video, which will come out after Pokey gets his new system and he does his little practices to get back into playing the game and everything, we are going to have a part 2 video where I run him through the same testing that I did. The only difference is for him is when I give him a setup, he's not going to know where I got that setup, whose setup it is. He's not going to know any of that. So when we go through like 5 laps of doing certain things, I'm going to run him through the calibration tests, the force feedback test, and then we're going to do setups for him. Let's find out what setup really works best for him. Is it a setup that I get from the Sim Racing's website, or is it a setup that I randomly found on time trial leaderboards? So we're really going to figure that kind of stuff out. That would be part 2. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was semi-informative. I know I didn't really show me screwing around with the settings. I really didn't know how to explain a lot of those. I think it's just a lot of trial and error while you're playing, while you're working that stuff out. It's just a trial and error. You just got to keep working at it. But if you do want more information about how to do those settings, go to the YouTube channel of Sim Racing Setups. They will give you more information. You can go to F123, F124. I'm sure they're going to have an F125. You can find a lot of setups on there. If you're looking at steering wheels that you might want to purchase and things like that, which one is the best one? Do you want a product review and things like that? They are a very, very good YouTube channel to go to basically just learn how about the game. How can you get better at the game? What kind of steering wheel are you looking for? There's a lot of different things to it. If you want maybe tips on how to take some of these corners or learn a little bit more in depth in the game, uh, an F1 sim racer who just retired recently, Brendan Lee, go take a look at his channel. He puts a lot of really informative things on his channel. There's a lot of things changing up here on this channel. Pokey is making a YouTube channel, like I said at the very beginning. We are going to be working together to just collab, make entertainment, make content. When it comes to F1, you're going to be able to get my point of view, his point of view, those things. Live streams are going to be coming up every single Saturday. I believe at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which I believe is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time if you live there, so in that time zone. But yeah, that's basically some of the stuff that's coming out. I will be putting out another video about more of a channel update and what's been kind of going on, why I've been kind of quiet at putting out content. So if you're interested to see what is coming up on the channel, be sure to pay attention for the update video, which should be coming out shortly after this video comes out. So hope you guys are all having a great day. Until next time, everybody, please take care of one another and love one another. We'll see you guys next time.